Yo, what's going on, my people? It's your big homie Crooks the Great, aka CTG, and I'm back at you guys with another banger of an Undisputed video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about something very interesting, because we're going to be talking about something that, if it is fixed, could really change the entire landscape of online gameplay for Undisputed, and that being movement / loose footwork. Now, this is one of the biggest issues that I feel like isn't talked about nearly enough in the community. I know some people here and there kind of touch on it, but I feel like if this was adjusted and actually fixed, it would make the gameplay and the online experience 100 times better, man. It really would make it 100 times better. And my whole reasoning behind making this video is because of the fact that, as you guys know, and as I've touched on in previous videos, the developer team is watching content creators' videos, especially those ones that are on gameplay updates, gameplay things that need to be fixed going forward. So I really want to press the issue with this, because I feel like this is a really big thing that a lot of people are struggling with right now because of the running meta. And you know, the desync meta being a thing right now too, that I feel like if it's adjusted, it'll make the online experience and the online gameplay that much more better for the entire community. Now, with that being said, let's touch on why that is the case, why I think if it's adjusted, it's going to make it better. But before we do that, we got to dive into the problem, right? So for those of you guys that have played online, either in quick fight or in ranked, then you guys have probably ran into somebody that just throws themselves into loose footwork. You know, they'll pot shot you and they'll run pretty much the entire fight and make it incredibly hard for you to track them with shots, other than say like a body jab. Even the body jab sometimes don't track loose footwork speed, because it's so quick. Moving laterally, you're able to cut angles that an opponent can't take away. You know what I'm saying? Or they can cut angles that you can't take away if you're the one that's the advancing fighter. And that shouldn't be the case. That's a really big issue right now in the game. And I feel like that really needs to be adjusted, and that shouldn't be the case. Because what it's doing is it's making one playstyle more prevalent and easier to do and more successful than another. It's virtually pretty much eradicated inside fighters. You don't see guys like Joe Frazier, who's a 90 overall. You guys don't see guys like JCC being used in the correct ways. You guys don't see guys like Sean Porter, you know, that are actually pretty good on the inside, fast, explosive fighter in Sean Porter, being used because of the fact that movement speed and loose footwork speed is incredibly fast. It really is, and it's really starting to become more and more prevalent amongst the community because of the fact of how effective it is. And although I agree that outside fighting and outside boxing in real life in the game should be prevalent, and there are people that box from the outside, it shouldn't be as hard as it is right now to be an inside fighter, to be able to close the distance. And if your opponent backs himself up into a bad position, for you to capitalize on that with a shorter fighter, that it's way too difficult to do that right now. So now that we've talked about the problem, how do we make this better? All right, my bad, my people. I kind of had to cut it because I had to go turn on Coco for the little boy that I got running around in my house causing chaos. But we were talking about how we're gonna go ahead and fix the issue now that we've identified the problem. And there's two ways that we can go about fixing it, right? There's two options that we have. Number one, we can slow it down. We can slow down movement / loose footwork speed, so that way it's more easily, people are more easily hittable. People are not being able to just back themselves into the corner and being able to just cut angles and be as free as possible. That would really be one way to combat the issue. And I know it's not going to be super popular amongst the community to do so, but it is an option that, you know, Steel City could use to potentially slow down the movement and make the movement that much more realistic. Because like I said, in real life, people that back themselves into the corner, it's a very dangerous place to be. Imagine if you guys have watched Joe Frazier, you guys have watched Julio Cesar Chavez. You think if people back themselves into the corner against those guys, that those guys aren't going to take advantage of it? They are, especially if they're inside fighters and they're the shorter fighters, because that's how you're taught to fight somebody if you're a shorter fighter. So I feel like it would really benefit it if they were to slow down the movement speed. The only caveat to that is you don't want to tweak it too much to where the game becomes rock'em sock'em robots. That's not what I'm wanting. I don't want people to be throwing combinations every single time they engage. So there has to be that balance. I want outside fighting to still be a thing, but I also want inside fighting to also be a thing. But right now, with the current state of the game and with how fast everything is, outside fighting really dominates inside fighting. You don't really see inside fighters being used, nor do you really see people wanting to actually engage and try to close the distance on people because of the fact of loose footwork speed and movement speed in general being so quick. So option number one is to slow it down. Option number two, and this is one that I've heard a lot from the community on, adding a stamina tax. Adding a stamina tax on somebody who just wants to fight off the back foot is very realistic, because we all know not every single boxer in the world can fight off the back foot and is effective and built stamina wise to fight off the back foot. It's a very tough thing to do. It's very stamina taxing, and it can gas fighters out in real life or boxers out in real life. So why not have that implemented into the game? You know, if you're going to play in loose footwork more specifically, it should start to hit you around round 5. A heavy stamina tax, and starts to slow down your footwork speed if you're in that footwork the entire 4 rounds previous. You feel what I'm saying? So adding a stamina tax, I feel like would really benefit it, because it would start to tax that stamina heavy in the later rounds. So that way, if somebody was avoiding you in the first 4 rounds, then in the latter half of the rounds, they start to slow down. Now, this can be very fighter specific. Like, obviously, if you're using Usyk and fighting off the back foot in loose footwork, he's not going to lose as much stamina as, say, a Deontay Wilder, right? A Deontay Wilder doesn't fight off the back foot very effectively, where a guy like Usyk does. So, you know, adding a stamina tax in there, I feel like would really benefit, you know, the community in the long run. It would really help to combat the issue of loose footwork and movement speed really being so damn OP'd in the game right now. And that's option number 2. You know what I'm saying? So one of those 2 options I feel like would suffice, would really start to combat the issue that we're having with movement / loose footwork speed in the game right now. But I want to hear your guys' opinion. What do you guys think would help combat this issue? Are you guys on the side of slowing it down and making the game and making the footwork speed and the loose footwork speed slower? Or are you guys on the side of, hey, you know what, let's just tax the stamina more, so that way we can take advantage of them being in loose footwork later on in the fight? Or do you have a different idea? Let me know in the comment section, man. As usual, man, I'm gonna be trying to respond to every single comment that is posted up on this video, and not only am I gonna be responding to it, but the developer team too as well is looking at these videos and getting the community's feedback to look at what they need to change in the game. So please drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this topic in general, and let me know what you guys also think about what you guys think needs to get fixed ASAP. But that's it for me, my people. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to slap that subscribe button as well as slap that like button. It would be much appreciated, so that way this video does get tossed into the YouTube algorithm and more people get to enjoy the great content that I have for you guys here on the channel. But until next time, my people, take it easy, be safe, enjoy the rest of your guys' day, afternoon, evening, depending on where you guys are watching this from, and I will see you guys in the next video.